Hello and welcome to night 8 of the G1 Climax 2020, everyone's favourite year in history. It is our first B block night, so get ready for some B block action with me, Randy Datson, and our resident luchador Tempest, who actually knows about New Japan. So he will be actually giving some expert insight, and I will be sitting here talking nonsense. Climax says, how many total days are there? Sorry, quickly before we get into things.
In total, including the final, there should be 19 days.
Tempest, your microphone is rubbish. Sort it out. I don't know what's happening. Every time you move, it sounds like you are talking from inside a cup. I hope I'm not the only person hearing that. Tell us in the chat if Tempest thing is rubbish, just so I'm not being completely unfair to him.
It's not very nice. Why does everything have to go wrong?
Don't worry, Antonio, you are not late. Marco Talent, thank you for your lineup there. Yes, we have Juice Robinson against the 3-0 Yano, who keeps cheating to win, as I'm been reliably informed. Hiroki Goto against Zack Sabre Jr., Tanahashi against Yoshi-Hashi, which in the Hashi match. Kenta versus Evil in the Bullet Club match. And no, did I make that up? No, I didn't. And the main event is Naito against Sanada. So a bunch of very good matches to watch there. So yeah, lots to look forward to today. And it does sound, you haven't spoken, but it does sound as if you have fixed your microphone, Tempest. So well done.
Is it?
No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
What is going on?
Is your microphone under your chair?
No, my microphone is where it's always at, sitting a foot in front of me.
It sounds like you're almost like scratching something. I don't know. Unplug it and plug it back in. Don't worry, guys. I'm the professional here. Tempest over here is he's just a common luchador. He doesn't really know what's going on. Live. I'm just going to tweet out that we are doing this. So everyone who has a Twitter, make sure you retweet that for us. Otherwise, are you a real fan or not? Right. I'm just getting New Japan World up. Right. Watch Long Live with God.
Better now.
Yes, it is. Very much so.
I didn't do a thing different, but that's technology for you.
There you go. Yes, you did. You did what I said, which I'm assuming was the right thing. Sure. As they cover night 8 of the hashtag G1 Climax 30.
Yes, True Heel Heat Wrestling says, let's go. I can't believe I am up now after being up late watching the Lakers, but let's do this. Hopefully my dedication gets me a spot on a podcast with Mr. NJPW Tempest. We will see what we can do. We have been in contact.
I saw that the Lakers won the match.
Boy, did they. They sure did.
Because they got more baskets than the Heats.
That's how that works.
I do actually know about sport, so you can discuss basketball with me. Yes. I'm not everyone else on the roster, on the WrestleTalk roster. The Young Lions match is about to start. We've got Gabriel Kidd. I'm assuming that's Gabriel Kidd in the darkness. The lights don't seem to be working. So it's Gabriel Kidd against either Tsuji or Uemura. Let's have a look. I'm going to go with Uemura.
I believe he's facing Yota Tsuji, but that is more or less a guess. Not quite sure why the lights aren't working.
Oh, it is. You're right. The weirdest looking young lion.
Yep. But he looks very normal in the like tutorial how to act properly at the shows video. But as soon as he gets ready to wrestle, his hair just floofs out.
Well, just while we get ready for this match, we've got a just run down the scores in the B block. Currently, we have on 6 points, so both 3-0, Tetsuya Naito and Toru Yano, if you can believe that. He has just been endlessly cheating to win and outsmarting his opponents. And so we will see if that continues tonight. On 4 points, we've got Juice Robinson and Kenta. And 2 points, Evil, Hiroki Goto, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Yoshi-Hashi, Zack Sabre Jr., and on 0 points, so the only person still without a win is Sanada. So we will have to see what changes tonight.
Poor Sanada. That's the one that depresses. Well, they all kind of depress me a little bit. The thing with, like, obviously, we have not been covering the B block nearly as extensively as we have been covering the A block. And that's really just because we, I don't know, kind of decided that like not as many interesting and unique and exciting matches are coming from this side of the block. Yes,
and unfortunately we both have other things to do. I obviously run the website. Tempest needs to sleep and then work on the website, so there was no real chance that we could actually cover every single day. Although I'm sure we would have liked to. But who knows? Maybe next year, if we have some more lads on the or ladies on the team, that we can cover a bit more. But I don't think we can get Tempest on every single stream because he would die.
Feeling like that today, unfortunately.
Hey, stop being so pessimistic. These are our fans.
Well, I'm very happy to be here for our fans, but I think I slept about 2 hours before this. Just my sleep schedule did not appreciate waking up at 5 and then trying to go back to sleep afterwards yesterday.
No, I'm really bad at napping. I basically, what happens is I'll go, right, I'm really tired, I'm going to nap. And then it takes me about an hour to nap. I nap for about half an hour, and then I wake up with like heart palpitations and breathing very heavily because when I nap, I just stop breathing, apparently. And I sort of wake up like, and I get very hot. So it's almost not worth it.
No, I would say that's probably not worth it.
Where is where is Luke? Luke is he may join us later. So he's got a morning meeting, which we do at 11 o'clock our time. So that's in about 20 minutes. But he may well be able to join us after that. He says he'll do his best. Andy, why are you so bright? I don't know. It's not particularly. It's actually incredibly grey outside. I am just using my laptop camera, and it's not the greatest laptop in the world. So it's probably just because of that. I'll do that for the entire show.
Yeah, I'll bet you will.
Actually, I'm trying to think if I can put something there to cover my head up. Do you know what? Tempest, you entertain everyone. I'm going to see if I can fix this because I can see why it'd be a bit annoying.
How am I ever going to entertain these fine people? Well, we can keep going through the chat. There were some interesting questions here. Mike Dempsey asks, is there a chance Sabre Jr. versus Ospreay happens? Well, there's always a chance. Statistically speaking, there's always a chance of it happening. But I would find it highly unlikely that Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay both make it to the finals. I've thought that Will Ospreay had an outside chance of making the finals and maybe not necessarily winning a block or winning the whole tournament, but I don't think we're going to see them face each other. If you want to see it, you can see it. You can go back and watch it from earlier this year. They had a couple of matches, one of which got 5 stars from Dave Meltzer. That was at Rev Pro High Stakes, I believe, where Ospreay captured the Rev Pro British Heavyweight Championship for the very first time. So that's very exciting. Valib says Sanada is going to main event the Destruction Tour by getting the pin on Naito. You're almost correct, but I think you've followed that up nicely by saying, but I've lost hope of him winning the block, let alone the G1 itself. Is Destruction yet or Power Struggle? It will be Power Struggle. Pretty much the only big event after the G1 Climax is over. It's the big show now between the end of that and the Tokyo Dome show. I presume they're still going to do a World Tag League because that usually takes place in December, and that shouldn't really shouldn't really be affected too much by all this if scheduling is going to go the way that it usually does. As Andy continued to make a ton of noise. Oh, goodness. Ashrith says, Tempest, do you think Kawhi made a mistake? He had the whole country wanting him. Well, I certainly do think he made a mistake. And that's not just me being a tremendous, absolute, massive Raptors fan. He proved he could get it done here. And he apparently wanted to go and play for Doc Rivers with the Clippers, and now Doc Rivers is not the coach there anymore. So we'll see what he and Paul George and everyone else do with this next season. But could have had another one, Kawhi. We could have run it back, and we would have. You know it. These Heat don't scare me that much. Marco says, I have Sanada winning the rest of his matches to win his block, but lose to White in the finals. Entirely possible. Could happen. You know, Jay White winning the A block wouldn't surprise me that much. Sanada coming out of the B block would be a bit more surprising, but I could still see it. There's still an outside chance. You look marvelous.
Hooray!
Marvelous.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, I've been talking about basketball.
Oh, that's fun. I like it when they dunk the slams.
As do I.
It's another one of those sports that's very difficult to watch over here unless you're nocturnal, because the matches generally don't start much before 1 a.m. When I was unemployed many years ago, I used to watch a lot of basketball. I used to record the matches. Now I'll often watch the highlights of the big games. Is one of those sports that is so much better with a crowd, though. Unfortunately,
yes, I do agree.
Are they somewhere else for B Block? Because this seems to be a different stadium.
Yep. Yeah, last night's show was in not Corkin Hall. That's when their last B Block show was. I'm not sure where exactly this is, but it's somewhere.
Basically, what I've done is I've put up the backdrop, which we normally have for our reviews, next to me, so that the sun stopped eating my head.
Yes, it's much better. You're much less saturated.
Good.
Yes. Flame Inc. says, Tempest, if you got to wrestle Rey Mysterio, Will Ospreay, or both, what would you do? I would wrestle them and hopefully not make an absolute fool out of myself.
Surely you would want to wrestle both, because you might have more fun in a singles match, but just to say that you shared the ring with them, would be pretty cool.
I mean, as far as influential junior heavyweights or cruiserweights or whatever you want to call them, you know, it doesn't get much bigger than that and more influential than that. You know, obviously you get guys like Jushin Thunder Liger, but he is retired now, so what can you do? Although I would have liked to have wrestled him as well, if only I'd gotten into this a few years earlier. Marco, we had some questions about like the schedule following the G1, and he says Destruction, Power Struggle, and King of Pro Wrestling are usually the big events, but with the G1 getting pushed back, I'm not sure if they're all going to happen. I would almost guarantee that they don't. Power Struggle is usually the one that happens third of those three, and it is the only one announced as of right now. And then Rizzle Dizzle says Super J Cast, which has fairly good track record, is saying there will probably be a World Tag League Best of the Super Junior joint tour. That is correct, although, of course, nothing has been confirmed as of yet. And, pardon me. Jabber JJ says Tempest, isn't Kenta and Evil the leader of Bullet Club in their minds? This one's going to be interesting. I don't know. This is like the first interaction that Evil has had with either Kenta or Jay White since they've returned to New Japan. So that's part of the reason that we're watching the show today, because that is just very interesting. So we'll have to see. I don't know. And someone asks, are we going to get double interference in that match? It's possible. Although Kenta hasn't really had much outside interference in his matches. So it'll be interesting to see if Dick Togo, takes it to one of his own. Flaming says, what happens if the IWGP champion wins the G1? Who gets the title shot? In theory, it would likely either be someone who pinned him in the tournament or he gets to pick his own challenger. It has not happened for a very long time, and I don't really foresee it happening again anytime now. And yeah, these guys are doing their little.
Yeah, how much do they get paid, or do they not get paid? Is that the thing where they just like they get given the sort of wrestling things and a roof, and then that's it?
That's a good question, honestly. Given that they are housed and they do like chores and everything in order to live there, I don't know that they're probably compensated a bit. But when you graduate and are given a contract, that's when the real money comes in. And Ashworth asks, Andy, what is your favorite NBA team?
Oh, I'm a massive Spurs fan. But this was sort of back when they actually had sort of quite a good team. When they had like Kawhi Leonard, and Pau Gasol, and that lot. Am I saying that right?
Yep. No, you got it.
When they were kind of when they got to the conference finals a few years back, that's when I was really watching them. But in recent years, it's been much harder to watch, and therefore, I think probably because of that, they've been doing less well. Because I'm not watching them.
Of course, it has nothing to do with Kawhi Leonard getting injured and refusing.
But I mean, I guess you could say I pretty much support them as much as I support, I don't know, the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's nice to see that they do well. Or if I check the standings now and then, I go, oh, cool, they've been doing well recently. It's not like I'm actively going, oh, well, I got to stay up for that match. I'll do that for football or soccer and some other sports, but American sports is just much harder to follow for us.
Yeah, well, you'd never say that about the Toronto Maple Leafs because they are never doing well, it seems.
Well, they used to.
Yeah, when I told you to be a fan of that team, it was like 2 years ago, and the future was a lot brighter than it is right now. We've somehow got steadily worse since then.
Bob Marcus, you're confused. I didn't mean the Tottenham Hotspurs. I meant the San Antonio Spurs. They are a completely different thing. Yes. I'm a Liverpool fan in football, which may make you retract your statement given how easily Liverpool beat Arsenal on Monday. So enjoy your season of mediocrity, Bob, if that is your real name, Robert.
Marco asks, or states that it hasn't happened since winning the G1 gave you a Tokyo Dome title shot. That's correct. That's only really been happening in like the last 8 years or so. And it's always been a challenger, although the challenger has only won in the Tokyo Dome one time. That, of course, being Hiroshi Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom 13, defeating Kenny Omega. And Antonio asks, are you guys are you after the G1 finals, are you guys going to cover New Japan more, or is this kind of a one-time deal? Odds are, I mean, if there's a big New Japan show, you know, the hope is to cover this much more regularly than we have been in the past. So we still don't really know what much of New Japan's schedule is going to be besides the Power Struggle show, which odds are would be the next show covered after the final. But fingers crossed.
Oh, they're going at it. They're slapping each other.
They've gone to a time limit draw.
I was going to say, that felt like it was going a lot longer. Maybe.
Yeah.
There was a very, there was a good young climax. There was a spear in there. There were quite a few attempts at Boston Crabs. So, yeah, good little match there. I wasn't expecting that. I do know that it's football, not soccer, Antonio. However, if I say football on these streams, most people assume I'm talking about American football, where they wear pads, even though it's the same as rugby, where they don't wear pads. Although, actually, in American football, you can charge people head first, whereas in rugby, anything neck, shoulders or above, well, neck or above is considered an illegal play.
It's typically usually the same thing with...
because that's really dangerous.
Yeah. There's limitations on what you can do with your head.
Tell that to my wife.
Jobber JJ asks, why is the IWGP champion in the G1? You know, it's a good question. The easiest answer is just the G1 is the all-star cast of New Japan, so having the champion in there makes the field that much better. You know, I kind of attribute it to the reigning champion in a sports league playing the regular season. You know, something like that. It's kind of different, but that's the way I look at it.
It's cool to see them giving the young lions a bit of personality.
Yeah, Gabriel Kidd especially has kind of been the one with the most personality in New Japan thus far. You know, he's kind of been. Oh yeah, I mean, he sets himself apart already. But he has, he's butted heads with, people like Yuji Nagata and other people who are like veterans of New Japan. So,
butted heads, or storyline wise, or actually?
No, like in storyline.
Okay.
More of like a trying to earn respect, but he's cocky and brash and whatnot. So. Good on him, though.
If you had to put together a WWE G1, how would you see each block? Why aren't you asking me? I'm also here. But no, he's asked you, so I'm not going to answer. What's your WWE G1, Brian? Better Tempest.
Well, I've actually thought about this sort of thing a lot because I don't think it would be that hard to do, really. Like if WWE was more focused on having really good matches. And more focused on having being focused on the wrestling and, just straightforward storylines. I would do a deal where you get a title shot around SummerSlam. So you do this tournament kind of like an early summer, like June into July. And you have one block that is Raw and one block that is SmackDown. And you do it Raw and SmackDown are 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. And these shows are no more than, 2 hours and a bit. So just say for a month, call it I guess they just did something called Gold Rush, but just call it the Gold Rush tournament and have the top 10 guys. If you want to do 8 guys on each brand, you can have, your top 8 guys on Raw. your top 8 guys on SmackDown and have it be guys that are good, you know. Try and limit the amount of people like Baron Corbin that are going to be in it that'll just drag the tournament down. But, you know, like on one side, like you look at the SmackDown roster and just like fill out the top 8 guys on SmackDown. You have AJ Styles, you have Daniel Bryan, Big E, Sheamus, Roman Reigns, keep going, Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle. Those are 8 guys on SmackDown. Those guys have a round-robin tournament on SmackDown and do the same thing on Raw, you know, where you've got Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, you know, Bobby Lashley, and Raw has too many people to really think about. None of them kind of stick out the same way. But that same sort of deal, and then have a really big match that you know is going to be good in the finals between 2 guys that you don't typically see wrestle each other. You know, Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, add those kind of people in. Have the finals be like Rey Mysterio against AJ Styles for a title shot, because you know that match will be excellent. They face each other. They get a match at SummerSlam. It would be easy, but they don't think like that. So
no,
whatever.
Of course not. Because it's not a storyline. That's just having matches for no reason.
No.
Speaking of matches, the first of the B block is up, and it is Juice Robinson against Toru Yano. Lots of people very happy in the crowd to see Toru Yano, by the looks of things. He seems to be a very popular figure among the ladies.
Well, it'll be interesting because Juice Robinson has been, obviously he has changed his look. He got off to a very hot start before dropping his last match to Hiroshi Tanahashi. And Toru Yano is undefeated thus far. So we are going to have to see what gives here. You know, because if Toru Yano wins another couple matches, you know, I don't think Toru Yano's going to the finals, but they're going to have to do something.
Well, surely it might just be the case that people just start figuring out what he's going to do.
Yeah, for sure. You know, because honestly, if he won this one, he probably wouldn't be able to win another just for the sake of standings, because he's not going to the finals. They're not going to do that.
No, you would think not. So what made Juice change his look?
I don't know. This is the first time he was coming back since the beginning of the pandemic. So I suppose he just decided to refresh his look a little bit. We had Jubber JJ say, "Why does it look like he's applied for right to censor?" This is a very good point. I've also thought he, at least coming out, he looks like one of the Blues Brothers.
He does look about 20 years too late. He looks a bit like Peter Andre or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's different, but what can you do? I gave him a hard time at the beginning of this tournament, saying, I need him to step up and impress me. And he's done that so far.
Yano is telling Juice to wear the shirt. Whoa. Who could have seen that one coming?
I don't know. Most of Yano's wins thus far have involved
a near fall after this. Spray to the face with presumably cleaning fluid, but
I think it's supposed to be just water.
Why would that be so affecting the eyes? Unless it's hydrochloric acid, in which case Juice is now blind.
Because the deal, Yano used to come out and spit water out, a la Triple H.
So it must be something, because he's just used water to clean it out. So if he's using water to clean out water, then I don't think he quite understands. Oh no, Toru Yano! Oh, if that's cleaning fluid, he may now be. If that's bleach, he may now be blind.
Well, he did manage to pin Hiroshi Tanahashi earlier in the tournament while blind, so that wouldn't necessarily
What
be...
a wrestler.
I know. He is the true ace of New Japan.
Tempest, why are you looking down? Oh, it's because he is currently naked from the waist down.
Yes, I'm looking at my massive penis. It's because I'm watching the show on my laptop.
It's got a little mask on it too.
Yeah, of course.
He's turning into Water Robinson. Nice. Japanese writing, or is that Chinese writing? I think that's Japanese writing.
I would think so, yeah.
Japanese writing. In a non-super chat, tell us what your name means. Oh, no, it says NT. NT dollar.
Oh, yeah, no, I believe that looks Chinese to me.
Yeah, I think NT dollars. What are NT dollars?
I could not tell you.
Oh, New Taiwan, of course. Oh, yeah, it is China. But obviously not China. It's Taiwan, but it's Chinese. Tell us what your name means, Mr. Taiwan.
Yes, please. Flame
it's Mandarin.
He asks, if Dolph Ziggler went to New Japan, how would he fare? I don't know, and I don't particularly care because I don't like Dolph Ziggler. If he cared enough, he strikes me now as like someone who's kind of going through the motions in WWE. Understandably so. You can only, put in 100% effort when you're Dolph Ziggler for so long. But, you really do have to try when you go to New Japan, or you're going to get left in the dust. So if he did, hopefully he would try. He could have good matches with a bunch of these people, but I don't know. He is not one of the people who I'm like pining to see in a G1 or anything.
He's got the right hair for it.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sorry, Mandarin name. I do realize that now is quite obviously Mandarin. And Jobber JJ says, who's Chinese, which is, of course, a reference to Pete being an idiot. Chris Jazzcat says, not China, Taiwan. The Chinese government sent to the chat. Come at me, Chinese government. I'm sure you're all watching. The guy upstairs is from Taiwan. Well, that's good. Wait a second. Does that mean that, Antonio, you live below the guy with the Mandarin name?
So Juice Robinson has had his feet taped together. This is pretty typical for Yano matches, unfortunately. But now Juice will have to wrestle the remainder of this match with his legs binded.
Does that not count? Bound. Does that not count as a weapon?
Apparently not. It's been used in just about every one of Yano's matches. So
also, has Juice got really tattooed legs?
He's got at least one tattooed leg. Perhaps both of them are.
Or is he just wearing a lot of tan?
No, I do know he has at least one tattoo. Good old.
Oh, there we go. That's a close up. He's got lots of tattoos on his legs.
Yeah, as he's trying to free himself from. Seems to be working so far.
It helps when you haven't got leg hair.
Yes. Oh Lord, he has now freed himself. Ashrith says, Andy and Tempest, you guys have been covering New Japan for close to 2 weeks. How has it been with the viewership you've been getting? Do you think it's worth covering New Japan Pro Wrestling? I think, we've been doing fairly well. Obviously, we're here on Wrestle2, which, subscriber numbers are going up as opposed to like on the main channel where there's many more people. But, I've been having fun watching it. It's always good to have an excuse to talk with my good friend Andy Datson, and watching New Japan just helps that much more. And Juice went for the Pulp Friction.
Oh, Juice wins.
Now got
Juice wins. Juice with a kind of cradle standing thing. I don't know what you would call that, really, but it was a pin. Yeah, it feels like Juice is sort of the first person to sort of almost outsmart Toru Yano. I think this is probably going to be the theme going forwards now, where people have just kind of cottoned on to him, even though he's only been there for several decades. Yes, no. Well, if the more you watch and the more you share, the more we'll get to do this. You say we're not on the main WrestleTalk channel, so the subscriber count is significantly lower than it would be. So, but basically, what I'm saying is, if we're on the main channel, I'm sure we'd get a lot more viewers. But the way to combat that is to share this around and make sure that by the end of the G1, we have equaled the amount of subscribers on WrestleTalk, and only you can do that. So if we can get 700 and whatever it is, another 750,000 subscribers in the next 2 weeks, then we'd be doing well. So share it around. Tell your friends. Make lots of fake accounts. And watch from all of them.
So Juice Robinson now is at 3-1 in the tournament. You know, I was not expecting him to be one of the people leading the block, but good on him. Like I said, I needed a big performance out of him, and he's certainly delivering thus far.
Flaming says, I wish I was true, but I've had a YouTube channel for 5 years and only got 200 subs. Hey, that's 40 a year. By the time you are 1,000 years old, that is 40,000 subs. And that is a lot. So keep going at it. I'm sure your break is just around the corner. Yes. Obviously, we've kind of built this off our main channel, so we did have a bit of a head start. But yeah, it's nice that people are appreciating the content we're putting out on here. Who's up next? Is that Goto against Sabre Jr.?
Yes. Which should be a very good match.
It should be a very good match.
I've enjoyed what I've seen out of Zack Sabre Jr. thus far in the tournament. I mean, I enjoy most of what Zack Sabre Jr. does in general, but he's done quite well early on here. His matches with Evil and with and Naito have been especially fun.
Absolutely.
Jobber JJ says, I've shared this link like 5 times and I'll continue sharing. Yes, I keep getting notifications on Twitter and I do appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much, Jobber JJ. You're one of the best. What's on your channel, Flaming? Yes, what is on your channel, Flaming? Let us know, and so we can go over there. As long as it's not you reacting to other videos, I'll be interested. There is nothing more tedious than watching someone react to other things. I'm joking, obviously, because we're doing that. But no, the try not to laugh videos where you are just watching someone trying not to laugh. That is unentertaining.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, KSI. I know you're watching.
Antonio Correa says, name me 3 players from... I don't know if that's supposed to say Atlanta.
No, it's Atalanta, which is a Italian soccer team. But I'll give you a few minutes to think about that, Tempest.
Yeah. I prefer to think of that as Atlanta, a city in my neck of the woods, and I could do that quite easily. There's so many sports over here to choose from. I could talk about the Atlanta Falcons football team. I could talk about the Atlanta Hawks, a basketball team. I could talk about what's the other one? I could talk about the Atlanta Braves, a baseball team. The Atlanta Braves might actually do the thing this year after like 25 years. They might go and win a bloody World Series. I wouldn't be super opposed to it. I think the Atlanta Braves are cool enough. It's not going to be the Blue Jays because they lost. They lost big time.
What about the Red Sox?
They're still no. They lost even worse. They never even made it to the playoffs. No, not Boston Red Sox suck, and I hate them.
Here's a 5 to say thanks for the coverage. Welcome to Zack Sabre time. Thank you, Christopher Jazzcat. As always, you are very, very generous with your super chats. Tempest, Atlanta players. Did you have any thoughts?
I don't know. This one's tough. You know, again, footy is not my area of expertise. But there's excuse me. Alejandro Gomez is one. Duvan Zapata is another one. And oh my god. The thing is, his name again. All of these other names I'm not super familiar with. They're often difficult to pronounce. I believe it's see, it's always like, again, these European names. Licic, I think.
Yeah, Josip Ilicic. Yeah. He's a good player. I knew you'd like him. So, unpopular opinion. As much as I like Zack Sabre Jr. matches, they are a bit, wait here while I grab your arm, twist it, grab your leg, then twist that, then I'll grab your head, and the person just sort of happens to be lying there not doing anything about it. Although that was a nice little transition into that armbar.
Yes, I wouldn't want to face Zack Sabre Jr. in a real fight. I do reckon he would be very much like an octopus, kind of grappling all over you. That Rai guy says, what happened to Taka Michinoku anyway? They're trying to limit the amount of people that are on these shows as much as possible. So I believe he's just one of the people that didn't get the call to come back. And Flaming says that he's running a gaming channel. So,
well, go over. We know about successful gaming channels. So do go over and check out Flaming's channel. Flaming, if you start playing Hogs of War, I'll give it a look in, which is the single greatest video game ever created.
Well, according to Louis, that would be FIFA.
Because that is the only game he knows. Well, Hogs of War, there was supposed to be a Hogs of War 2. Unfortunately, plans were cancelled, and it's probably the worst news of my life.
Yeah, Flame Inc. doesn't know what Hogs of War is. That's unfortunate. I know what Hogs of War is. I played that game when I was
Imagine Worms 3D, but much better. It's with pigs. It's a kind of turn-based thing with pigs, and you can blow people up, other pigs up, and you can go in tanks. It's on the PS1 or on the PC, and it is simply the best. It's all the characters are voiced by the late great Rick Mayall, who you may or may not have heard of, one of Britain's finest ever comedians, who was supposed to voice Peeves. If Peeves had ever made a appearance in the Harry Potter film series. Unfortunately, he did not. And one of the many, quite frankly, ridiculous omissions from the films, which made the film so, frankly, subpar.
Shout out to, what was his last name? Ludo
Bagman.
Yeah, that's it. I was going to call him Ludo Baggins, but that's incorrect.
That's crossover, that is.
Yeah, I was looking at the Lord of the Rings bits on your wall behind you.
Oh, right.
Ashrith is asking, Andy, do you think AEW should push the Lucha Bros now that Eddie Kingston is behind them? It's been a year.
It's not like they haven't pushed them. It's like they've been in lots of high-profile matches. Obviously, most famously, that ladders match with the Young Bucks. Oh, and Sabre Jr. wins with his...
Oh, my goodness. That was so quick.
With his bridge pin. Yeah, I don't know. I find his matches a bit dull Sorry, Zack Sabre Jr. fans, but that is almost the finish. That is a finish to a large majority of his matches. I know people have finishes and stuff. I just don't buy it as a pin. But anyway, they had that unbelievable ladder match with the Young Bucks. So it's not that they haven't had high profile matches, but yes, it's certainly true that they are arguably not even arguably, probably the top 5 tag teams on the planet. Mm-hmm. But unlike in WWE, where you sort of feel like, okay, well, they're not being pushed, that means they're never going to be pushed. AEW feels very much like everyone gets their turn. They will be pushed soon. And that's not just me going, oh, AEW is better than the WWE. It's just the way it is. I mean, if a WWE act stops being pushed, you fear the worst.
Yeah. Well, in WWE, Vince McMahon may be a fan of you on Monday morning, and by Monday 8 o'clock, he'll have given up on you and moved on to someone new, and that pretty much means the end of you. You know, in AEW, it's not like that. So,
Jobber JJ says that was short. I wouldn't say that too often. Tempest has heard that a lot in his life.
No, remember, massive penis.
That's why. Yeah, I know, but no. But I'm talking time wise.
Oh, I see. I see.
You know how premature you can be.
Oh yes.
That sounds like I was involved.
Scott here says Atlanta's biggest team right now is arguably their soccer team. I don't know that I would agree with that. The Braves are in the postseason and doing quite well.
I was going to say, arguably, maybe from a non-American perspective. I think is that the team that David? I believe is that the team that David Beckham's bought.
Is it? I have no clue. I pay very little attention to MLS.
No, it's not. No, I think he's bought an Orlando team.
Yeah.
Owner Arthur Blank. They are currently 11th out of 14 teams in the MLS. So I don't think you can really call them the biggest team. I know they've had some good players. They had Almiron, who Newcastle United from the UK bought. I think it's Orlando City, the David Beckham franchise. They are 4th. Who would you have? Who would you support if you? I mean, out of all these teams, Tempest, you've got Columbus. Oh, I guess Toronto FC, obviously.
I mean, sure.
They are in 3rd place. They are 3rd.
Oh, excellent, cool.
Only 2 points, but only 2 points away. Oh, Beckham owns Inter Miami. Of course he does.
So there used to be a joke around these parts that if you could have $5 or your local MLS team winning the MLS Cup, what would you do with your $5? Because no one friggin' cares about the MLS Cup.
Honestly, I've watched the MLS and the standard is pretty shocking.
Well, it's like I'm from here. I'm in Canada, and I don't enjoy MLS for the same reason I don't particularly care about like the Canadian Football League or things like that, because I know if I want to see the best soccer, football in the world, I won't find it in MLS. I will watch the Premier League or something else.
Yeah, the MLS, there's a reason that no actual American international players play in the MLS anymore. It's just not very good. A couple of questions. What's been going on here? So far, the Young Lions match has been the best.
Yeah.
I don't know. With 69 watchers and premature discussions by Andy, I'm seriously doubting it now. What are you doubting? What are you doubting? Are we still talking about wrestling? Oh, right, yeah. Let's get it to 69 likes, everyone. Yeah, get 69 likes. Nice. 71 watchers right now. Let's have a look.
Antonio Correa says, Tempest, you don't watch football, but you have very good knowledge about football.
I tutor him a lot.
You got to have a wide palette.
Absolutely. Mandarin Name says, Andy, when will you make your Quizlemania return? Really miss you on the show, and thanks for answering my question on this month's After Dark. I will be back on the 14th of October episode of Quizlemania, so make sure you tune in and watch me probably come third ahead of Pete. This
Can't
month,
imagine. Can't imagine you wouldn't. But
69 viewers again. We've and he asked me. He says thank you for answering his question on After Dark. Yes, I got a random message from Blompier saying, "Can you join the After Dark stream quickly?" And it turns out that they wanted someone had asked to recommend some adult film actors and actresses, and I am apparently deemed the resident expert on that. So I was only too happy to help.
It's good to be known for something.
Oh, what has been your favorite match so far? Says Wrestling Comics Awareness. So far in the whole tournament or tonight? Tonight hasn't really been any kind of, I guess, the Young Lions match has been the best one so far. But I did really enjoy yesterday's match between Takagi and Ishii. That was fantastic stuff. No one else join or leave. We're on 69 right now, so let's just leave it there. I see Luke has not messaged the stream yet. No, Luke is probably still in the meeting. If he does join, it will be in the next sort of half an hour, I would think. But we shall have a look. And Cacciatore Di Giovanni says, "Top of the morning, lads. Listening from." Oh, this is tense. This is tense, Mr. Di Giovanni. I cannot wait to see where you are listening from. With a name like that, probably not Leeds in the UK. You would have to guess Italy. Hey,
there you go.
Well, that's Antonio saying Italy. So I need. Andy, I have some feedback on your opinions of ZSJ, but it won't let me cuss in the super chat. I'm assuming that means you agree with me, because you were going to say, yes, I effing agree.
Of course. You're allowed to have a differing of opinion.
Yeah.
Got some people asking if we think Sanada can go all the way in this tournament. I think so. He's just got a big uphill battle to climb.
I was going to say, given what's happened so far, you would say no. But I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Jay White made it to the final last year, and he started his block with a 3-0 record. So anything's possible, but he will need to string together some wins going forward. Ashrith asks if we watch AEW. Sure do. Watched it last night. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And Christopher Jazzcat says you can sit over there and be wrong.
Oh, he's no. Di Giovanni is on his way home from work in PA, which, don't tell me, that's Philadelphia.
Well, yes, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, bollock, poo.
It could be Philadelphia. Philadelphia is
Philadelphia's in Pennsylvania. Yeah. I get mixed up with those two. I always forget which one's the state and which one's the city.
Yes. Someone else made that mistake recently. I don't remember.
I'm generally pretty good with my states, and simply because I hear so often from St. Louis, Missouri, and like Green Bay, Wisconsin, that kind of thing. Who's from Green Bay, Wisconsin?
Mr. Kennedy.
That's probably where it was.
He would announce himself from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
That's why I recognize it so well.
I was going to say, I don't think anyone's been from Green Bay, Wisconsin since then.
I like Zack Sabre Jr. as much. The next guy says Van Dusen. I just don't like how he sells or takes bumps. He makes the Rainmaker look so bad. Philadelphia is a good call. Hooray! Hi from Athens, says Tommy Cake. Well, Tommy, that is an unfortunate surname, if that's your surname.
Yeah, you might want to get that changed.
Kennedy.
J-Pat
one of the most unlucky men in wrestling, if you ask me.
Well, yeah, he's up there. J-Pat wants to know what our favorite AEW match has been so far.
Oh, there's only one for me. The Young Bucks against Omega and Page. early this year. I watched it live with Ollie, and it was one of those matches where you just bought into absolutely. The acting was unbelievable. The wrestling was unbelievable. The story going into it was crazy. Everything in that match was just so good. And it now and then if you can get kind of jaded and a bit pessimistic about wrestling, but then you watch something like that and go, oh, this is why I love wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I was there live for that match because that's my answer as well. Honestly, at that point, I think that might be my favorite match, period, like ever. Because the feeling in that, I've watched that match like 4 or 5 times since it happened, and it was just absolutely unbelievable. Just so electric in the building. Everyone bought into everything. When Omega gets hit with the golden trigger from Young Bucks and kicks out at 1, the reaction in that building of just everyone thinking it's going to be over and just being like, oh my God, we're kicking back up. Everything is now ramping all the way back up. It was going and standing in line for the washroom after that match and everyone just being like, wow.
Yeah.
I hadn't been there live for something like that before. The best match that I'd been there live for prior to that was the Andrade Johnny Gargano match. But again, that was like right at the main event, right? So it's like it ends, everyone goes home. This was the first time where I had like this amazing, incredible match in the middle of a card and everyone just sitting there afterwards and just kind of being like, wow, we just saw something like really special.
We've got people asking if we watch the Portuguese league and the Liga. I watch a bit of them, but not really. Again, just don't have time. I don't know how you people have enough time to watch all of these things, frankly. But good for you all. What was I going to? I saw something. The thing is that there's been so many good matches in AEW that to be able to say so quickly that is our favorite says just how good that match was.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got isn't this guy in like Tekken?
Yoshi-Hashi, I don't think is in Tekken. Okada is in Tekken. Is in Tekken, more or less.
No, I know. I meant more his outfit and the fact that he's carrying around his staff.
Close. Well, you'll have to forgive me then, because you can make the character King dress as Okada in Tekken.
What an unfortunate face that man has.
Yeah, that's Yoshi-Hashi for you.
Right, let's tweet out to say that Tanahashi is in action.
My beloved Tanahashi. Flame Inc. says AEW titles mean very little as they are always on the line. That I don't agree with that one.
No, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
That doesn't make a ton of sense.
Because the whole point of a champion is that they should want to, unless they're like a heel, like kind of if MJF was champion, you'd kind of understand it. But the whole point is that you want to see championship match. You want to see people put on that level, it makes a lot more difference. For example, when it's Cody's open challenge where he was chanting someone new every week. What I don't want to see is Asuka beat Zelina Vega one night and then Asuka beat Zelina Vega the next night, Zelina Vega the next night in the same match.
Yeah.
That's when it's not interesting. When you're actually having lots of different matches, however, that's when you think, okay, this is why championships are interesting. This is why we have championships.
And he continues on saying, like there is an AEW world title match. World title match. Yeah, I know. Easy for me to say. Every 3 to 4 weeks for whatever reason, storyline or not. Well, you got to look at it. There's a WWE world title match every 3 or 4 weeks. They just happen on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
AEW doesn't have pay-per-views as often, so they have them on real big episodes of Dynamite.
Not only do they only happen on pay-per-view, it's the same match that happens on pay-per-view. I mean, the last 4 months, all we've had is Randy Orton against Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather see several matches in short weeks against lots of different people than the same match over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
Agreed. 130H asks, of all the wrestlers fully trained through the WWE system, who do you think would do best in New Japan? Probably Rusev, Miro at this point. I think he, like, as far as or Chad Gable.
Yeah.
You know, as far as people that were fully, completely trained by WWE, those two. I mean, Roman Reigns is the man and would probably do well just about anywhere at this point. But those three would probably stick out to me the most. Wrestling and Comics Awesomeness says, could y'all see Vince McMahon pushing Adam Cole on the main roster? I have zero faith in Vince McMahon to push anyone of any merit at this point, especially someone who is not particularly tall and not particularly bulky. That's not a knock on Adam Cole. He's one of my favorites in the whole world, but Vince McMahon's track record speaks for itself. Yeah,
Marco Talent points out that McIntyre's had more W Championship matches this year than Mox has had AEW Championship matches, and McIntyre won his like a month later than Mox did.
Yeah.
Movie Nation, what is your favorite shirt? I don't have one, but I was thinking about buying one, although shipping to Germany is extremely expensive. What is my favorite shirt? Oh, it's probably one of the ones that you can buy at WrestleTalkmerch.com. There are so many to choose from. It's such a great variety of shirts, apart from the thumbs up one, which is a horrible, horrible piece of crap. But go and buy all the rest.
Yes,
my dinner.
I would typically agree. I did see, I think Movie Nation asked what the best New Japan Pro Wrestling t-shirt is. I don't know if that's in relation to the same question, but I think the best New Japan shirt might just be the classic Bullet Club shirt, just because it's kind of iconic now. I also do like the Los Ingobernables shirt. Those are probably my top two. But every variation of the Bullet Club shirt, at least for a while, was quite cool. Although I don't think I've bought one in a long, long time. Thought I saw another good question here somewhere, but perhaps not. Oh, well, what can you do?
So these two, in terms of points-wise, are both 1 and 2. So this is a big match. So at the end of this, one will be 2 and 2, and one will be 1 and 3. Or they'll go to a draw.
It's possible. I don't see it happening, but it's entirely possible. It would make me very sad if Hiroshi Tanahashi does not win this match. Because this has been the deal with the B block. There's only a handful of people that I really want to see do well, you know? Like, I don't particularly care if Yoshi-Hashi does well. I don't particularly care if Evil does well. Stuff like that. But I want to see Hiroshi Tanahashi be involved in, like, really big, good matches. You know, same kind of thing with Sanada, but I think they've got more plans for him. But seeing Tanahashi lose to Toriano and whatnot was just a little deflating, honestly. And Eugene Krabs says, I haven't kept up too much on this G1, but who do you guys think will win? I think Okada is going to win.
I think Jay White.
It's a solid choice. You said Tomohiro Ishii on the first show.
No. I never said that. No, I never said that.
Oh no!
Don't go back and watch it and check. But I definitely didn't say that.
Yoshi-Hashi has got Hiroshi Tanahashi in a bit of a knee bar here. It's very difficult to say their names back to back. Tanahashi and Yoshi-Hashi just kind of mixed together a little bit too much.
Hey, Tempest, what are you doing tomorrow?
Working.
Oh, really? Because Ollie's just asked me to help him in the morning. So can you start a bit earlier?
I mean, perhaps, yeah. Whatever you say, oh fearless leader.
So this is how we always sort it out. Just like 1 hour.
Yeah. This is the typical routine around here. Hey,
Yeah.
can you do that thing? Yeah.
Well, it's Friday, which is normally the day which I work for most of it, and then you jump on. But I normally start later. But Pete is unavailable tomorrow, so I need to help.
Pete.
This is live admin. God, this must be really entertaining.
Mike Dempsey asks, "Is Tempest talking bad about the Bullet Club leader?" No, I love Jay White. I just don't. I don't own. Well, that's not true. I do.
Some of his best friends are Jay White.
Yeah, you're funny. You're a funny man. I just haven't bought a Bullet Club shirt in quite a while. And Jobber JJ asks if we will see an Okada Tanahashi final.
I doubt it.
Maybe. You know, it's not the craziest thing I've heard, but I don't know. I don't see Tanahashi coming out of the B block. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but
Dragon Screw. What was I going to say? I can't remember. Oh, yeah. Do you have Mawam in Canada?
I don't know what that is, so I'm gonna guess no.
It's a German sweet. Do you recognize that label?
No, I do not.
Oh. Do you have what chewy sweets do you have over there, or chewy candy?
I don't eat a ton of candy. I mean, there's like Airheads or a type of like taffy.
Laffy Taffy.
Yeah. Like there's things like Tootsie Rolls, which I'm not a big fan of.
What's your go-to flavor if you do have it?
What, just candy in general, or like?
Yeah, you've got orange, strawberry, cherry, raspberry, apple, lemon, and cola to choose from.
I do like strawberry flavored things.
I'll do that then.
If you're looking for just a recommendation. And Christopher Jazzcat says that's not true, Tempest. There you go. Look at you. That looks like a little taffy type deal.
It is.
Says I've got the Bullet Club Black Lives Matter shirt, and that's very true. I do have that. Although I don't walk around with big things saying like Switchblade Jay White on it or anything like that. Not that I wouldn't, but I just currently don't.
Starburst, yeah, he points that Starburst.
Oh yeah, that's one. Yeah, that's another one. Wrestling and Comics Awesomeness says, what should be the main event of WrestleMania? I want us to see Big E versus Roman Reigns because Big E deserves that spot. But if not The Rock, then who else? That's the thing. If there are fans in attendance in a big building in Los Angeles, there's no doubt in my mind it should be Roman Reigns versus The Rock.
Completely agree.
Yoshi-Hashi is trying to fire up here as best he can with his little charisma. He's got Tanahashi looking for a fisherman suplex as he lifts him up, but Tanahashi works his way out.
Master lock. Oh no, he can't get it.
Going for the
yeah, should we actually talk about what's happening in the wrestling match? Oh my god, what a horrible,
oh goodness gracious,
non-released German suplex.
Yes, the arm trapped German suplex.
That looked rough as pig stuff. Wow. That's one of those moves that you don't get often in WWE because I guess they need to preserve their necks because they wrestle but prior to the pandemic, they wrestled 912 times a week.
Yeah. Tanahashi hits the sling blade. I also think at some point they try and preserve all their German suplexes for Brock Lesnar.
Oh, he's going for the splash. And he gets the knees up. Yoshi-Hashi gets the knees up.
Tana, no.
Tanahashi is dead. What's the most painful move you've taken in your short career, Tempest? Both. So one submission and one physical.
Yeah. I mean, submission probably the most painful. Honestly, like in my debut match, I was submitted by a calf crusher and a twist. Kind of was like a regal stretch. And if you're in that for more than like 5 seconds, your back really starts to seize up, and that's not fun. Otherwise, like the Boston Crab Walls of Jericho is not a good time.
Yeah, when I was younger, I put my brother in a Walls of Jericho because he was like telling me how wrestling wasn't real. So I did that, and then he was in quite considerable pain. He hit me afterwards, even though he told me to do it.
It's funny what siblings do.
I know.
You know, as far as like a wrestling move, I think just about everything. Like, it's all stuff that's happened in training, right? And it hasn't been a ton of things. Like the most painful thing I've had to do was someone who did a small package but did it wrong. You know, and I just like he took me over and rolled me up, but not smoothly. So I kind of just like got my chest crunched a little bit, and that was no fun. I did kind of just have to like put my head down and pray for a second, but besides that, it's very little things. Someone who dropped a knee on my shin really hurt, but it didn't look impressive. You know?
God, stop being such a wuss.
Yeah, no.
I've never been hurt by a wrestling move.
No, of course not.
Actually, I did have quite a good hand mark after a night out. Because for some reason, when wrestling fans meet up and go out together, they have to chop each other.
Of course.
As soon as you get slightly drunk and your pain threshold is a bit lower, you're like, right, well, time for some chops. And then you'll wake up the next day, and then you'll see like, oh wow, you really were getting chopped last night, because their entire chest will be bright red. Yeah. Ashworth says, Andy, who has the best hair at WrestleTalk? You've never seen him, but his name is Rich Goodyear. He is one of our video editors, an absolutely fantastic video editor, and a very lovely man. But he does not like being on camera, so you won't have seen it. But he has a lot of hair. He has more hair than Ollie, Luke, Pete, and Laurie combined. But then again, so does my scrotum.
Nice. Flame Inc. says, Tempest, last time I was in Alberta, Canada, there was a pizza I got. It was like a pizza inside a pizza with a stuffed crust pizza. It was the greatest pizza I ever ate. You just said pizza a lot of times. You just said
a lot of pizza, yeah.
Yeah. Have I ever heard of this? I mean, yeah, we've got stuffed crust pizza over here, and it is quite good. I'm a big fan.
No, but it was a pizza inside a pizza, so it was like a pizza pie.
Yeah. Did the moon hit your eye?
No, but a pizza pie is just a pizza, isn't it? Pizza pie is just what pizzas used to be called.
Yes.
Okay, cool. What I've started doing at Domino's, because if I bought a normal Domino's, I would be able to eat about 3 slices before feeling ill. I've started getting their thin and crispy base, and it has changed my life. It is so much better than their normal crust, because it's so much you can eat the whole thing. You don't have to wake up the next day and eat cold pizza, which I know a lot of people do like, but for me, I'm more of I like my food warm, you know.
Yeah.
This match has been weirdly uninteresting.
Well, it's got Yoshi-Hashi in it. That's the problem. Yoshi-Hashi is not interesting. As much as I love Tanahashi, he doesn't have a ton to work with here. I mean, Yoshi-Hashi had him in the butterfly lock.
Oh, backstabber.
Got him and hits him with a backstabber. Someone had asked what looks more painful, the Judas effect or the Cobra clutch. The Judas effect, absolutely. If you get hit with a back elbow in a real fight, you're probably getting knocked out.
Yeah, if it's a proper back elbow with the point of an elbow, there are a few things more painful than that. I've been knocked out or concussed a few times in my life. The two moments that spring to mind are both sports related, and both. I was playing football, soccer, and I'm a goalkeeper. I'm a goaltender, goalie, and someone crossed the ball, and I dived out to catch it. But as I did that, a opposition player came running past, and his knee caught me directly in the chin.
So you got V-triggered, is what you're saying?
Pretty much, but properly. Yes, I had a very big lump on my chin for several weeks. The other one was I was playing cricket and the ball was hit straight up in the air, and I went to go and catch it, called my name to say that I was going to catch it, but someone wasn't listening, and I dived head forwards into his hip. So it's basically me diving head first into things accidentally. And the other concussion I got was oh God, I thought I was going to be an earful. I was with a friend of mine, and the girl that he fancied, had a crush on, was there. And so I agreed to let him put a cone on my head and kick a rugby ball off my head. However, he was wearing quite tight jeans, and instead of kicking the rugby ball, all he did was kick me very hard in the back of the head. So that was stupid.
A good friend.
But it's all for love. Yeah, I don't actually speak to him anymore.
Oh, that's
whoa. Andrew Kotze. Hey, Andy, speaking of pizza, I have a friend who enjoys prawns on Nutella pizza. Andrew, I honestly don't think you should be friends with this man. In fact, you should probably report him, because that is utterly revolting. Like, I know some of the things I eat are weird, but prawns on chocolate? That is illegal. BJ Baker with a super chat says, Tempest, how are your prediction blocks going? Mine aren't going well. I'm currently 0-2 today and 20-17 overall. That is not good, BJ.
No. I've not kept... oh dear, hang on.
Not good BJ is something.
No.
That is too common.
I mean, so far today, as far as my predictions for this one, I'm 2-0. You know, Juice over Yano and Sabre over Goto. I don't know how I've done overall so far. I would have to go back and check, but
I actually haven't got a single one wrong yet.
No, of course not. You are the god of pro wrestling. The god of pro wrestling in general, yeah. And Yoshi-Hashi looking for karma, but Hiroshi Tanahashi fighting out of it. God, I hate saying these two names one after another. It's absolutely terrible. Tana hits a sling blade now and goes for a near fall. I've also got a life. However, it had nothing to do with sports. As I was, I believe, in first grade, and a kid who was bullying me just pushed my head into a brick wall during school. Tana's hit the high fly flow, and he's going for another one. So be nice to kids, folks. Don't bully others. And now a second high fly flow. That'll do it. 1, 2, and 3. Yay, Tana!
Oh, someone is at my front door. Be right back.
What if that's Luke finally showing up for the stream? If you went all the way to Andy's apartment, I would be very surprised. But Tanahashi has now fought his way back to 2-2, which is good. If he's going to make a run at this, I'm glad that he's now gotten back to 500. we'll have to see if he's able to really go all the way, but we'll see. A win over Yoshi-Hashi might not win a ton beyond the obvious 2 points. The sun is now starting to rise here in Canada. Jedi Messiah says, where are my WrestleTalk jorts? John Cena does not work here, so there's not an overabundance of jorts. Perhaps Luke Owen will wear jorts if he's going all the way with his lukewarm Luke Owen gimmick. Perhaps we can make that happen. John Arias says, you may have answered this already, but what do you think the effect of the change in leadership might be for New Japan Pro Wrestling? Honestly, I don't know. It will be very interesting to see, because maybe this could lead to a big change in the relationship with other promotions. We don't really know yet. You know, we've talking about the change in leadership in New Japan, and like I said, like we don't really know yet. It will very much be like a wait and see type deal. This could mean the beginning of something with AEW, but it also might not, and we might notice very little change at all, you know, because most of the on-air product hasn't really changed under Harold May, you know, so if he leaves, I don't know that it's going to change that much going forward, so we'll have to see. And Flame Inc. says, Tempest, how is COVID lockdown treating you? I mean, no better or worse than anyone else. I mean, I guess I'm doing better than many people, considering the work that I do is based primarily out of my house in general, you know, so I didn't lose any work or anything like that. So I'm more fortunate than most. So I'll count my blessings for what they are worth. That being said, I would like to go outside now. I'm ready for this to be over, and it doesn't look like we are going to be going outside anytime soon, as Ontario is about to go back into phase 2. So
nice.
Thumbs for that one.
I noticed how everyone's only asking you questions. I'm just gonna. I'll just sit here, not be asked any questions by anyone. So
how's
fine.
lockdown? How's lockdown treating you, Andy?
I don't even care anymore. I'm very bored of lockdown. It is what it is. I'm obviously not gonna break any rules, but pretty bored of it. The man at the door waited for approximately 3 seconds before leaving me a note saying that I wasn't in when he knocked. I actually was walking down the stairs, and he left. It is a diffuser. I heard the other day that if you get a peppermint oil diffuser, spiders will avoid your house. And I get so many big spiders in my house that I thought this is worth trying. So I bought myself a peppermint oil diffuser. Oh.
Everyone is asking you questions now.
No, sorry, I just got a text from Louis asking me how to headline something. Andy, question for you: will you follow me on Twitter? No. I asked you a question before to you, and you ignored it. What was it, Shavash? Tell me. Tempest Andy, where's Luke and Simon Longden? Simon is working on other projects right now, but he may well be back at some point in the future. Luke, I don't know. He seems to have abandoned us today, which is fair enough. He is a busy man. He has a lot to do. But let's try and get that up to 100 people viewing, so then we can tell Ollie how well we're doing. All right, 2 seconds. I'm just going to look at the what is Louis asking me?
Ashworth has asked, Tempest, did you like the Dr. Britt Baker match tonight? Do you think she's ready for the title? Yeah, I mean, she was pretty clearly very green when she started in AEW, and, you know, dating back to All In and stuff like that. That being said, she is by far and away the best character in the women's division in AEW, and I think it would go a long way if she was champion. You don't even need to have her wrestle every week, but having the AEW Women's Champion featured in an entertaining segment every week would be a big step forward for the presentation of the division. So I could definitely see it. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. Christopher Jazzcat says, "How can you have such a wrong opinion of Zack Sabre Jr., Andy? He's not letting this one go."
I just don't find his match interesting. It's just like you may not find other matches interesting that I do find interesting. It's an opinion, and therefore it should be allowed. Man, this really smells of peppermint, which I guess is the point. I do like mint. That's fine. Andy, if Randy Orton ever wins the WWE title, how long of a title reign do you think he'll have? Not very long. Is my answer to that one.
Until Edge comes back is the answer.
Yeah. Oh, you reckon they're putting the belt on Edge?
I figure that's the only reason you put the belt on Orton. Is to, really, like, I figured that's where they would be going. Like, I thought he was going to win the title at SummerSlam and then build to Edge's return match, but he's just kept losing. So,
does anyone know how to use a diffuser?
I have no idea.
Do I put all the sticks in at once? People in the chat, do I put all the sticks in at once? Flammable liquid. Do not light reads. Do not ingest. I wasn't actually planning on it. I wasn't planning to eat them.
Mr. Giovanni, is back saying, Andy, how or who gave you the nickname Randy Andy Datson?
That is a good question. My second ever appearance on a WrestleTalk video was during the 2018 Christmas show. Or not the Christmas show, but when when we sing the TLC songs, we sang Waterfall that year. And I had mentioned to Ollie that I had a bit of a singing voice. And so the plan was for me to kind of pop up now and then and sing properly. And everyone in the chat heard Ollie call me Andy and thought they called me Randy. So everyone in the comments was like, "Oh, cool, nice to see Randy there." Or like, "Oh, wow, Randy's got a great voice." And Ollie thought it was really funny that people thought I was called Randy, and it just stuck. So it's not the most interesting story in the world.
I mean, that's typically how things happen around here, The first video I did, people were just like, he sounds like the Brain from Pinky and the Brain, which, I mean, I don't see it. I don't get that, but they thought that was really funny. And they were like, okay, call yourself the Brain. And I'm glad it didn't stick. I'll say that. Ashrith asks, does Luke enjoy New Japan Pro Wrestling? Hopefully you can ask him that yourself if he shows up. But he, as far as I know, yeah. I mean, I think everybody enjoys good pro wrestling. And if you don't, what's wrong with you?
I was about to Google how to use a reed diffuser and then realized that I was typing it into our work chat instead of Google.
I don't know that people there are going to help you out much. Jobber JJ with the super chat saying, just Andy, heart. Bullet Club versus Bullet Club, interesting. That it is. We've got Kenta and Evil now in the ring, and Kenta is stalling, walking around ringside. Ashrith asked, Tempest, you said New Japan Pro Wrestling is your favorite. Ever thought of learning Japanese? I did think about it, but that is very hard. Learning a new language is something that requires a lot of work. And as someone who's kind of bounced around from school to job to job to job, never really felt like, I had a great opportunity to do it. Although I guess, lockdown would have been as good a chance as ever. But
how do I do this?
Oh, Kenta's kind of beefing with Dick Togo here. Perhaps we will see more interference than we thought.
I speak several languages.
You do. You're much more impressive than I.
I speak English relatively well. I speak Swedish, and that's my mother tongue. I speak German, as I studied that at university. and I speak. Look at that. And I speak very limited Urdu because my girlfriend's family is from Pakistan.
Look at that. That's
Why
3.5.
don't you Google how to have better taste, Andy? Says Christopher Jazzcat. Christopher Jazzcat, I feel like we're feuding here.
A little bit. I mean, he's chimed in with a super chat saying, beat Watanabe like the young boy he still is, Kenta. Someone does not like Evil. Kenta does whip him into the barricade very hard like a young boy.
Where should I put this? Where do most of the spiders go? I'm going to put it over on my coffee table. God, it smells. Oh!
Antonio Correa says, Tempest, people thought you were American, but you're Le Canadien. I am. I'm not French-Canadian. Make that distinction very clear. I'm not from Quebec, but I am Le Canadien. And I'm very, very happy to be. Shavash chimes in, whoever's booked to win, Tempest, yeah, put that on a shirt. J-Pat says, when are we going to see the Lucha Bros go singles in AEW? So many possible fresh singles matchups. I like to think that you don't need to break them up as a team to have great singles matches. You know, Ray Phoenix has had a number of good singles matches of his own, and he, as is now being pointed out by Valib, he is in the #1 contender tournament, so maybe we'll see some good matches there. And obviously, Pentagon Jr. can just have a ton of great matches. You can have him wrestle Kenny Omega, John Moxley. The list goes on and on. But I like the idea of them remaining a team, but going into singles competition a little bit, kind of like how the Briscoes did in Ring of Honor. Kenta has the upper hand here on Evil as he's trying to kind of fire the crowd up, although not in a way that they could actually clap along. Okay.
Evil already won the world by being engaged to Io Shirai.
It's true.
She is. Nice.
What a talented couple they are.
They are. What a heel. Kenta
Kicking
is.
Evil right in the head.
Mike Dempsey, I've put it on a table which is near the corner. Hopefully I get used to the smell because it is strong.
Strong.
Why don't spiders like peppermint? That's my next question.
You should ask a spider that question.
Does peppermint oil repel spiders? It's unclear why they steer clear of other peppermint oils. One theory.
Dick Togo is pulling Kenta out of the ring, clearly showing no love for his Bullet Club brethren. And now Evil attacks Kenta from behind. Broken Scythe says, hi, everyone. Am I late? Just a bit. We are a little less than 2 hours into this show. There is this one and the main event. And MI4997 says, if travel restrictions are lifted, do you think Miro will be at Wrestle Kingdom 15? He's been hinting at appearing in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, if travel restrictions didn't exist, I think he would probably be in New Japan already. Whether that will take place.
They do.
Yeah, well,
I don't think they're going to be unrestricted anytime soon. Just to go back to the match, Evil just trapped Kenta's arm in a chair and slammed it against the ring post, which looked tasty.
It's been very interesting to see some of these matches between stablemates, as you might think, oh, friendly competition, but when it's two heels, not so much. As we saw with Taichi and Minoru Suzuki, and now this match.
The stream's been great, says Mike Dempsey. Tempest has been providing great commentary, while Andy's been providing great interior design, interior decorating insights. Absolutely. Basically, that's what you should ask Tempest about wrestling and ask me about pretty much anything else. I am incredibly knowledgeable about pretty much everything that ever happened. My girlfriend was doing a pub quiz the other day. She texted me afterwards saying how much she would have appreciated me being there. And she texted me all the questions that they got wrong. And I knew all of them.
You're such a smart lad.
I know.
What were some of the questions?
How many bones are there in the human body?
I did know that. Isn't it like 206 or something?
It is exactly 206. Would you like one more? Way. What is the world's biggest fish?
Fish? I mean, like, I presume that's a whale shark?
It is a whale shark. You're just Googling these now.
No, these are common knowledge.
What are the 14 countries that border Russia?
No, that I would have no bloody idea.
Yeah, so geography is a bit of a strong suit with me. World geography. What else was there? What one animal does? What is the name the animal which almost doesn't show up on thermal imaging cameras? Which mammal? Sorry.
Which mammal?
I actually fact checked the question because the question was which one doesn't show up, and I said no, that's not possible. All mammals are warm-blooded. It's the polar bear. It's so well insulated that it almost doesn't show up, but it does still show up. It just shows up a lot more dark than most. No, it's not a platypus, but good guess. Broken scythe.
I was going to guess a platypus.
Antonio says, Andy's your girlfriend also watching that. And she is not. She watched it when she was younger. So whenever I mention it, she'll talk about Triple H and things like that, or The Undertaker. And she also does sometimes like to spear me in a kind of affectionate way.
I bet you like to spear her too.
Hey. Sex. You don't put them all in, only one stick at a time. Well, sorry, Ashrith, you're too late. I'm pretty sure I've seen pictures of people putting them all in at once.
Couldn't tell you.
Did you see about my question about the new America anime law? I have no idea what you're talking about. What is new America anime?
I don't live in America, so I try not to pay attention as best I can. Broken Scythe says there should be a Tempest t-shirt for WrestleTalk. You tell the people in charge that. Maybe we can make something happen. J-Pat says, I don't know what to think of Kenta these days. He used to be my favorite Japanese wrestler, but injuries have really slowed down his style. Yeah, he's not quite the wrestler that he used to be in Pro Wrestling Noah, but he can still have a good match from time to time for sure.
I've got I'm gonna pitch something to Ollie, I think. A tag team inter WrestleTalk Quizlemania. Me and you, website. Yeah. Louis and Pete as the kind of Wrestle2. Luke and Ollie, and then I was going to say Laurie and Adam for Parts Unknown, but then who would be the quiz master? Laurie and a partner of his choice.
Find anyone to bring it back. Yeah, I mean, I think the website should have had a team on Tag Team Quizlemania.
And they should have done.
It didn't happen. Kenta has the upper hand over Evil now as they're fighting in the ropes here. This has been about the match you might expect, given that, couple of heels. Evil going after the injured shoulder of Kenta. Wrestling Comics and Awesomeness says, I'd love to see what Seth Rollins could do in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think he would do quite well. He is a good wrestler. And Shavash says, why is Tempest in a cupboard? People like to think that I'm in a cupboard. I'm just in a corner of this room. There just happens to be a door behind me. Because this is about the only place I could find that probably wouldn't have absolutely terrible audio quality. Yes, people seem to like the idea of a tag team WrestleTalk Quizlemania.
I'm right now. I'm pitching it to Ollie Davis, Mr. Davis.
Perhaps we can make it happen. It just means I'm going to have to wear this mask for like 3 hours straight, and I will probably die.
Get a new one.
Yeah. Evil tried to use the ref as a distraction, but Kenta bared that no mind and just ran right into him. And now it's hit a DDT on Evil, but Dick Togo was probably getting involved quite soon.
Maybe Laurie could team with Denise.
Could well do. The Zornese says somebody put Tempest in a corner. I am not baby.
Yes, you are, baby.
Nobody puts Tempest in a corner.
Oh, Kenta has just snapped.
He's walloped Dick Togo with his briefcase. Now he's fighting off. Oh, it's a big kick to Evil. He's going to try and hit Evil with his briefcase, and he does. Whacks him right on the top of the noggin.
Well, right on the top of the hands. I think you'll find this is not real.
I don't know what you're talking about. It clearly hit him right in the head.
I
Oof.
I feel like they overdo ref bumps.
They do. They absolutely do.
Oh, running knee.
Oh. Could be it.
And you knew he was kicking out because he was really staring at that hand.
Yeah. It's one of many moves stolen by Daniel Bryan and CM Punk from Kenta. Oh, Kenta goes right into the exposed turnbuckle. Evil hits Darkness Falls.
But he was unable to pin the shoulders, and Kenta just rolled out of it.
Indeed. Christopher Jazzcat says, Seth wasn't even good enough for Ring of Honor. Fans chanted future jobber at him when he left. That's not very nice.
It's also not fair. He is a good wrestler. As much as he can be annoying on Twitter and things, Seth Rollins
and he is
a good wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, you can be upset at someone for leaving Ring of Honor, and I know Ring of Honor fans at a point kind of got tired of their stars leaving for WWE, but you kind of get that that's the gig in Ring of Honor. Memphis Graceland says, mustn't be a cold day today. No beanie for Tempest. I could put it on, but it's really more when the topic of Roman Reigns comes up, because I need to show my support for the greatest wrestler who ever lived. Christopher Jazzcat again says, Kenta has really suffered for people stealing all of his signature spots. It's true. They keep taking all of his moves. And it really hurt when he went to WWE and just had no finishers left because everyone had taken his.
What were his finishers?
Well,
other than the GTS, obviously.
He did the GTS, and then Daniel Bryan's running knee was his second finisher. And Kenta looking like he's going for... Oh, no, I've lost him! Oh, God, what am I going to do? It's just me. All right. Well, hopefully Andy hasn't fallen into the void, and I can just continue on here as best I can. Oh, my goodness, there's all kinds of ballyhoo going on. The referee has been bumped again, and Dick Togo has absolutely leveled the playing field. Evil goes and hits Everything is Evil. That will probably do it.
Did not make
back. Just in time for Kenta to get beat.
Oh. I went to close a tab, and I closed the wrong tab.
That'll do it. Way to go.
Kenta got beaten.
Kenta did get beat, so that should bring both of them to 2-2, I believe.
The B block seems to be a lot more even than A block.
Yeah. Although there's a lot of people in the A block that kind of have similar records as well. But there's a lot of guys on this show in particular that are kind of evening out their records. Christopher Jazzcat says he's good for WWE style, but couldn't cut it elsewhere. I think that's a bit unfair. I think Seth Rollins would probably do quite well in New Japan. He's a good wrestler, but I do think he is probably where he is best served right now. WWE is probably his best.
Christopher Jazzcat's really shooting on me.
Yeah.
I'm really upsetting with my views on Zack Sabre Jr., or should I say Crap Sabre Jr.
Ooh, got him. Memphis. I can do that too.
No, you just sound like you're masturbating.
Maybe I am. You don't know.
Guess I won't read my question. That's fine. Oh my God, what has Flaming said? I'm gonna scroll up.
To be fair,
the new animal law says that if you hurt/kill a pet, you will be arrested, sent to. On the new animal law, that's why we didn't know where you said anime law. Sent to jail and then put on a list where you are no longer allowed to own a pet. Yeah, I mean, if you deliberately kill a pet, and like if not like a fly, like a pet cockroach, then yeah, you should probably a short jail sentence, perhaps, because that is a really stupid and horrible thing to do. And yeah, I don't think after that you should be able to own a pet ever again, because you've clearly proved that you are incapable of doing so. Just like if you kill a child, you probably shouldn't be allowed to have children.
Yeah.
Don't do any of these things, I'm saying.
Just be a good person. Don't kill anything. Memphis Graceland says the current Roman Reigns angle is the thing that's drawn me back into WWE. So hell yeah, Memphis Graceland. I mean, I totally agree. I think that this Roman Reigns bit they're doing right now is just about the best thing I've seen from WWE in a long time. It's very much captured my imagination. So I agree. And Broken Scythe asks, Tempest, if someone would like to send a possible design for a Tempest t-shirt, where can they send it? Send any inquiries that you may have to support@WrestleTalk.com. And yeah, we will go from there. I can't guarantee anything will be used because, you know, business and whatnot. But anytime that you want to have a little bit of insight or give feedback or anything, support@WrestleTalk.com is your best bet.
Or just @Tempest on Twitter and abuse him from there.
Yeah, you can do that. It's fine. It's fine. Jobber JJ says, weakest night so far. Well, there's a reason we haven't been covering B Block. I'll say that.
Yeah, I will say there's a reason we haven't been commentating as much. It's just has not been as interesting.
This main event should be quite good.
Yes.
So at least there's that. When we're looking at what matches and what shows we need to cover as much as possible, we do tend to look at the main events. And this main event is one of the more interesting in the entire B Block. So we will see how that goes.
We've got Christopher Jazzcat. Andy's trying to cover the stench of his trash opinions with peppermint.
Really,
I'm coming to Australia. I'm going to take you down. No, it's not my favorite spell in the world. It's a bit. I don't know. It's a bit like having sort of what's that stuff you have under your nose?
Cocaine.
Vapor rub under your nose at all times. I'm much more if the rest of my life could smell of one thing, I think it would be cinnamon.
That's a good choice. Scott says, biggest upset of the tournament thus far coming up? Entirely possible. Although I would have to say Toru Yano beating Hiroshi Tanahashi is probably a bigger upset than Sanada beating Tetsuya Naito. But that's just semantics. Jobber JJ says, Tempest, why is this main event interesting? What's the history behind this? Well, it's Sanada and Tetsuya Naito. They are in the same faction. Sanada has historically, at least in recent years, been the kind of underachiever of the group. You know, at the start of the year, coming out of Wrestle Kingdom, he was the only member of the entire stable that didn't have a championship. And he didn't have a particularly good 2019. He lost to Okada 3 times, aside from, the one famous match that he had in the G1 Climax where he beat Okada that was very good. But aside from that, he didn't really, he didn't have much success in the win column. People thought he might beat Zack Sabre Jr. for the British title at Wrestle Kingdom, but he didn't. So this is kind of one of those moments where if he can beat Tetsuya Naito, maybe we get something coming out of it. We could see them have a title match, a power struggle, and that would be a really big moment for them. But beating your faction leader is not terribly common, despite seeing it very recently when Taichi beat Minoru Suzuki. So we'll see, but it should be very interesting.
Vicks Vapor Rub, that's the one, Memphis Graceland. That is what my flat currently smells like. Broken Side said his smell or her smell would be eucalyptus. That is a
eucalyptus
good smell. I had some kind of I recently had a fly infestation, and I absolutely no idea why, but flies were just in my flat. And the fly killer, the spray that I have, was eucalyptus scented. So every time I killed a fly, it stank of eucalyptus, which is a good thing because eucalyptus is a nice smell. People in the chat, let us know, what smell would you want for the rest of your life?
I like.
Don't be weird.
A crackling fire.
That is good. Don't be like
fire, like a campfire.
Don't say things like Tempest mask and stuff like that.
Thankfully, my mask doesn't really smell. This match is about to get underway. Jobber JJ says, thanks, Tempest. Learning while I'm watching. Well, that's what I'm here for.
Well, he's also thanked me because although I said I wouldn't follow him on Twitter, I did follow him on Twitter. God, I'm a man of the people.
Absolutely. Flame Inc. says, I've been a Roman Reigns fan since the start. All these bandwagon fans need to hush. Roman is like spaghetti. If you can't like him at his worst, you don't deserve him at his best. I will say, I bought that hat about 5 years ago because I have wanted to like Roman Reigns. And I mean, I think Roman Reigns himself is fantastic. But I've been waiting for them to present Roman Reigns in the proper fashion, which I don't think they have done basically since 2014, until now. So I'm very excited to see it. But Roman Reigns himself, big double thumbs up. And Wrestling and Comics Awesomeness says, we know Fiend is going to face Roman at Hell in a Cell. Jesus Christ, please no. But neither of them can lose, so how do y'all see it ending? It'd piss me off so much if they did another DQ finish inside Hell in a Cell, because that makes no sense. Please, for the love of God, never do anything like that again. Just don't put the Fiend in title matches anymore. I hate it. Don't do it. He's not a championship wrestler.
We've got some smells coming in. Cinnamon rolls, yes, I agree with you. Jedi Messiah. Butterscotch or Rainstorm, that's both good, both good. Christopher Jazzco says, I have a few thoughts as to why you have a fly infestation. Is it because my opinions smell of poo? What else we got? The smell of chocolate from Valab. Tempest masks from Broken Scythe. Vanilla essence or strawberry incense. Memphis. Fried chicken, good choice there from Infamous 17. Aqua di Gio, don't know what that is. Shrimp fettuccine Alfredo, that's your smell?
I don't.
All right.
I don't know that has
At least it's not shrimp on chocolate pizza.
Yeah. Antonio Correa says, Tempest and Andy, I said he was referring to new Japanese copyright law. This goes back to the anime thing.
Yeah.
TV Asahi is using that to strike channels like Wrestle and Ranton, Tyler Kuhn Williams, and Showbuckle, and Real Neat Puro, etc. I would very much like to see them stop doing stuff like that. So if that goes towards that, I would very much like that. I love Showbuckle. He was one of the people that really helped me get into New Japan Pro Wrestling in the first place. So if we could see more content like that, and if that opens the door for more New Japan coverage on this channel, I would very much like to do that, because Lord knows if there are wrestling essay type deals with New Japan, I would love to do them.
The smell of the ZSJ victory is the best. I mean, that must mean it smells of cinnamon, but I doubt that.
I doubt that very much as well.
More like cinna crap.
Oh, got him. Broken Sight says Hell in a Cell should be DJ and Roman for the title of the Tribal Chief. Then Roman versus The Fiend should be a long storyline. Well, I don't think, if DJ is supposed to mean Dwayne Johnson, I don't think that's going to happen at Hell in a Cell. That is far too short notice. And I don't want to see The Fiend and Roman Reigns.
It should happen on SmackDown this week.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to see The Fiend versus Roman Reigns ever. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of The Fiend, just in general.
Yeah, I just don't think that match can end well.
No.
There's either Roman squashes The Fiend or The Fiend has to beat this new Roman, and I don't think this new Roman should be beaten for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I said on Twitter, have Roman hold this belt for like 3 years. I wouldn't even care.
Yeah.
It's the best thing they've done in so long. Just have him be champion forever. Oh, Tetsuya Naito whipping Sanada into the guardrail.
Valab says, I bet Andy's a Tory. I'm not a Tory. I do not vote Conservative. Thank you very much. You think the smell I'd want is peppermint, says Wrestling Comics. Well, you can move in with me. Yeah, and any other smells? No. I would love a proper long storyline in the WWE and not just the usual 3-month storyline. Yes, I think we all would, Broken Scythe. But the problem is that WWE think a long storyline is just having the same two people have the same match over and over and over, rather than actually kind of developing characters.
See, that's the thing to me. Like my biggest example of this was, you look at like the New Day and the Uso rivalry from like 2017. It was very good. They had very good matches. The problem was they had good matches on like 4 straight pay-per-views. By the end of it, you're kind of tired of seeing it. If you instead had them have like their first match be like a show-stealing blow-away match at like, the Royal Rumble, and then not even follow up at WrestleMania, but have them then come back to each other after WrestleMania at like the May pay-per-view and have another match, and then another match at SummerSlam, and then their final match at Survivor Series. It extends that storyline that much longer, and have different teams come in and out in the middle to freshen it up, so that you're not just going at it over and over and over and over again and people getting burnt out. That's why no one wanted to see John Cena and Randy Orton by the end in 2009, because they wrestled each other on 5 straight pay-per-views. No one wants to watch that. Doesn't matter who it is.
But should we talk about the match for a bit? We haven't really mentioned it. So yes, it's Naito against Sanada. It's been very, very fast-paced, as you might imagine. Yeah. Naito is currently on top. He's leg swept Sanada in the corner, and then does a kind of modified shotgun drop kick, basement drop kick over the rope.
Yes, I don't think this match will have any trouble being the match of the night. I'll say that.
So what in terms of character wise is this a baby face versus heel match, or is this face versus face, or is this heel versus heel? Because Naito seems to be playing the heel.
Yeah, it's kind of like a couple of tweeners, really. Like, there's a lot more shades of gray in New Japan compared to many other companies. And this is probably the best example of it, where, Los Ingobernables de Japón are definitely not baby faces. They're not your traditional White Knight, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, face of the company baby faces. But at the same time, they're no longer that dastardly heel faction that they used to be. Back when they debuted in 2015, they were very much that way. So having now, like, Naito has become that tweener role. He still leans heel from time to time, but he has grown in popularity so much since then that now he should be able to play either role depending on the match. Whereas Sanada here is more of like the underdog kind of baby face. Still like a tweener where he can play heel if necessary. He's still in these, in this faction, but he is more babyface leaning, whereas Naito can go either way.
How many times has Naito won this? The G1?
Twice. He won it in 2013, and it did not go well for him. And then he won it again in 2017. And I mean, he didn't have the same success, but he was a much bigger star then than he was the first time. As Sanada hits a pair of leapfrogs and a huge drop kick.
Those leapfrogs, you've got to time well, otherwise you are getting a head in the penis.
Oh, yeah. Especially those ones where you don't see the guy coming the second time. Sanada hits a big plancha to the outside.
Andy, fried chicken. Oh, sorry. Carry on.
Flame Inc. says, Tempest says, Roman Reigns breaks Bruno Sammartino's 7-year title reign. Absolutely. Book it. Book it, Vince.
Book it now. If Vince survives. Ashrith says, Andy, fried chicken sandwich or fish and chips? Definitely a fried chicken sandwich. I do like fish and chips, but fried chicken is arguably my... Like, I know like people go, oh, my favorite meal is this. Or you're like, but there's something so magical about fried chicken that it just is unbeatable in terms of pure pleasure.
Yep. Broken Sight says that's true. WWE's long storylines are just a repetition of matches with some new tweak in the next match. Currently, I love how AEW and New Japan do long storylines. Absolutely. I mean, right now, they're probably two of the very best at doing them. Sanada goes for his moonsault press, and Naito moves out of the way, hits a back elbow, and hits a basement drop kick to get the momentum. And Jobber JJ asked, Tempest, why do New Japan Pro Wrestling have all these factions? Do they have faction warfare? Yeah, pretty much. You know, New Japan Pro Wrestling, it's just it's different that way. When you go into New Japan, you more or less pick a faction that you go to. It's almost like getting drafted onto a team, you know, in a real sport.
And speaking of drafting, next week on Wrestle2, you can join the WrestleTalk draft with Luke Owen and Ollie Davis, where they will be battling out in a WrestleTalk draft to see who picks the best roster. Well, I think there's a lot of confusion. This is not a draft of people who work at WrestleTalk. This is a Raw versus SmackDown draft, just like in WWE. They will not be going, I want Andy, because obviously everyone wants me. Yeah. They would not be choosing between me and Pete. Like choosing your favorite child. It is a WWE draft just conducted by them. And if you have any suggestions as to what they are playing for, because they haven't decided yet, send them in to support@WrestleTalk.com.
Tetsu Naito here looking for Gloria, but Sanada fighting out of it. Kind of interesting idea that I may have just had. As we get closer to November, perhaps... for an edition of Quizlemania, you do like a Survivor Series type deal with people at WrestleTalk, where you can have Luke and Ollie draft teams, and you know there's only
do a 5-on-5 Quizlemania.
Yeah, there aren't 10 of us, but you know you could have.
We could find 10, I'm sure.
Like that, you know, whether that be myself, you, Lori, Pete, you know, throw in a couple of other warm bodies, and you got a little faction of Luke versus Ollie. Just throwing it out there. Might be an idea.
Let's have a look.
Christopher Jazzcat says Naito versus Omega was great. It absolutely was. I love that match. All of their matches. They have great matches almost every time in the G1. Also says New Japan has the best years-long storylines in wrestling. Absolutely. Let's see. Broken Sight says, guys, have you ever heard of Super Eyepatch Wolf? His wrestling video essays are great. Do you know him? I've not heard of Super Eyepatch Wolf, but I will check him out. I do love wrestling video essays. So I will for absolutely sure go and check that out afterwards. Naito hits a big DDT on Sanada. This match has been quite good, I will say that. Naito had a bit of a rough time in 2019, but he has been excellent in this G1 so far. doing a very fine job. And Christopher Jazzcat chimes in again saying, on the faction thing, New Japan don't have the generic heels come out for beatdowns and generic baby faces coming out for the save. They'll have stablemates instead. I like it. Makes more sense. I do like it that kind of way where, especially in other companies, you will see like sometimes a babyface will get beat down and they just have no friends. And it never quite seems to make sense to me, because even if you're not aligned with someone on television, odds are someone back there will like you. But at least in New Japan, they present it like these are the people that hang out with this group and this group and this group, and all five of the stables. As oh my goodness, Sanada hits a big drop kick, almost sending Naito's head into the post.
I've had a question saying, did I like Cody's promo? I haven't actually watched AW yet, so I haven't seen it, but
It's quite good.
I almost certainly will, because it's Cody.
It was a good promo.
What was it? What was the general gist?
He responded to Brody Lee challenging him to a dog collar match on next week's AEW Dynamite, and said when he was training, he was told never to wrestle injured, but you will always wrestle hurt. But says, at what point does the injury take place in here? What if the injury is psychological rather than physical? And
Deep.
That sort of thing. It was a good promo. And Jobber JJ says, anyone in New Japan a lone wolf? Yeah, there are people. John Moxley doesn't have a stable. Chris Jericho isn't aligned with a stable. There are people that haven't really declared for any particular stable, and there are others that are, they can bounce from team to team. People like Togi Makabe, Tomoaki Homa. They used to be in a stable altogether, but as that stable has continued to break apart, they'll go and team with Chaos, and they'll team with Teguchi Japan, stuff like that, but that pretty much covers it. And Shivang says, Tempest, what's your prediction on what the G1 final this year is going to be between? Andy, I'm sure you can chime in with that one as well. Honestly, I think it could be a rematch of the New Japan Cup with Okada and Evil, but we will have to wait and see. It could also be Okada and Sanada.
Okada and Naito.
Ooh, the champion making it to the final would be interesting. If he continues on this pace, he's undefeated, and Sanada and Naito are trying to fight to their feet. Yeah, and Antonio Correa says Carl Fredericks is another one. Yeah, the young lion has yet to decide on what faction he wants to join. Jeff Cobb is kind of the same way if he has signed. And Gotcha Teens with the super chat saying, have you seen South Park Pandemic Special? I have not. I was never a huge fan of South Park, but man, if I'm going to watch something that's satirical right now with the pandemic, I might have to check that out.
Yeah, all my friends, and it's very much my kind of humor. But I've never really been someone who watched it. And again, it's it was on Comedy Central over here, which is just not a channel that I would really check out often.
Yeah. Naito has control of Sanada's arm, is beating him down with a series of elbows, perhaps setting up for a Destino.
Destino!
I do miss Kevin Kelly's call of the Destino. Jobber JJ says his final is Tanahashi and Okada. Could happen. Tempest Correa, Antonio Correa says Tempest Andy thoughts on Wrestling Ranton and Tyler Kuhn Williams. I haven't seen a ton of their stuff, but what I have seen has been good. And Flame Inc. says Fantasy Book Mox and Y2J are just the first, but they are just the start of a WWE invasion of New Japan, so that Triple H get his NXT Japan branch. I'd rather not. I don't like the idea of WWE Japan. They don't need it.
No, it is simply to it's even WWE would not be able to pretend that it was for anything other than to try and get one over on competition.
Yeah. A huge Hurricane Rana from Naito getting a near fall on Sanada there.
I mean, of course, they would pretend that it wasn't anything to do with that, but I don't think they'd be very successful in doing so.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like it. If they were to buy Pro Wrestling Noah like they said they were and just run Pro Wrestling Noah as if it was NXT Japan, maybe that would be different. But I don't need to see it. Oh, Naito going for Destiny. Oh, Sanada has got the Skull End, but Naito transitioned into Skull End of his own. Oh my goodness. That's probably the best he's ever hit that move. It's like his standing natural selection where he flipped.
Yeah, that was like a rolling, front DDT.
He's never quite hit that move perfectly, but that was probably the best he's ever hit it. Oh, and now hits a kind of a jumping inverted DDT and going for the Destino. Oh, but Sanada catches him and hits a TKO. That was a very nice transition. Now they're both down. He's unable to make the cover.
Oh.
Had a lot of people chiming in here. Mike Jones asked, who would you like to see take the NWA World title from Nick Aldis? No one. I love Nick Aldis and think he's probably the best choice for that title. That's the thing. Like people ask like, oh, who should beat Moxley for the AEW World title? And I mean, now we kind of have the answer, but for the longest time, just like, well, no one right now. The right answer has not presented itself. I don't think the right answer has presented itself for Nick Aldis. And Mike Ferris says Master Wato is a semi-free agent with no stable. Yeah, again, sometimes it takes a little bit longer for people, young lions coming back and that sort of thing. Flame Inc. says Okada versus Jay. Is that a possible finals options? Well, no, because they're in the same block. Also, I think they've wrestled already. They wrestled on the last show that we watched. So if you want to watch that match, just go watch it. Go watch it there. Valib says Carl Fredericks is no longer a young lion. He was given direct graduation. Yeah, that's correct. But again, a recent young lion at least, and he hasn't made his way back to Japan itself since graduating from the system. Ashrith says, do you think New Japan Pro Wrestling can run quarterly shows without American stars in USA? No, I do not. I think it kind of went to show that a lot of their G1 show in Dallas, while it did well, it probably would have done significantly better had Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and everyone been on the card. So it's very difficult without that big US draw to
on the Okada.
Yes. Like if you did one show a year, then maybe, but I don't think having 3 or 4 shows a year is a good idea. They're now exchanging hard strikes. Naito getting the better of that exchange. Christopher Jazzcat says, we don't need WWE to kill any more territories. That's for damn sure. NP Solo Man says, I want Jon Moxley versus Shingo Takagi. That match was in last year's G1 if you really want to go watch it, but I would very much like to see it again. Christopher Jazzcat says, why do wrestlers have a flap on their hip? Naito's look like scales. Yeah, I mean, it can just be, design most of the time. Just making your gear jump out a little bit more. Antonio Correa says, Tempest, look at the UK, sold out to WWE, killed the whole scene with NXT UK, so no, we don't need NXT Japan. I mean, yeah, NXT UK, there are people who now work for WWE who have said that that NXT UK was not good for the UK scene. I mean, look at all the independent promotions over there that have closed down. I don't think it should. It was a very good idea in the long run. But hey, they needed to kill World of Sport, and they did that. So shout out to them.
They did. They didn't just kill World of Sport. They've killed several promotions.
Yeah. Sanada has Naito in the Skull End, which I mean, is his primary finisher at least. There's a lot of people that don't like the skull end here, but I think it's all right.
Was this the skull in?
Yes. It's like the, what's it called? The Dragon Sleeper. Dragon Sleeper with a body scissors.
That's much better than the Cobra Clutch.
Yes, it is. And he's really got
he's really got it. And this match should be ending soon, so the only issue is that his arm's so sweaty that his head keeps popping out.
Yep.
Oh, is this it? Oh no, he's released it.
Yeah, this is typically what he does.
Oh, he goes for a moonsault but misses it. I feel like that's going to be curtains for Sanada.
Could be. It's like Suzuki trying to go for the Gotch pile driver out of the choke. It's like often
named
he doesn't
after
hit.
Simon Gotch.
Of course, the only good Gotch. Broken Sight says New Japan Pro Wrestling is not like WWE in Japan, right? I mean, New Japan is not a weekly TV show because if WWE will go to Japan, they could have WWE Japan as a weekly show and try to penetrate it, but can't beat New Japan. It's very complicated. WWE, I don't think, would have like a weekly show in Japan. It would likely just be on the WWE network, you know.
I don't like to think about the word WWE and penetrate in the same sentence.
Indeed. And Flame Inc. says, if WWE ruled the wrestling world, would Vince start a space program to conquer the wrestling universe? Probably. Oh, that didn't work out as well. But Sanada now looking for Skull End again with
Destino.
Oh, he almost didn't get it, but he gets Destino.
And he's kicked out.
Yeah, the Destino is not as protected as it once was in New Japan. Jobber JJ says, if WWE does WWE Japan, aren't Japanese wrestlers more loyal? That is also a good point. They would likely need to buy a company in order to get people to work for them because most of these top stars will stay with the company they are loyal to.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ibushi signed a lifetime contract, didn't he?
Supposedly, yeah. Sanada went for Skull End again. Oh, my goodness. Naito went for a suplex, but Sanada kneed him right in the top of the head. Valeb says he's a very big fan of the Skull End, and he wants Sanada to hit the Keiji Muto moonsault just once. And Naito hits a big enziguri. Oh, and he's going for his kind of brain bust. Oh my goodness! Sanada hits like a reverse DDT Destino type move for a near fall. Christopher Jazzcat thinks that the flaps on there are for slapping the leg. I can guarantee you they're not, but it's an interesting theory. I'll say that. Oh my goodness!
Oh, Sanada picks up the win.
Oh my god! Well, damn. He does it.
I was so shocked by that I wasn't actually looking when he hit his finishing move.
Holy smokes. He just beat him. So I guess we're going to get a match between the two at Power Struggle, most likely. That is wild. Absolutely wild. I didn't see that coming there. That's for sure. But for sure, match of the night.
Oh, easily match of the night.
Like, I don't even think there was another one close to that one.
No, it was a bit of a slow build.
Yeah.
To this match.
Mr. D. Giovanni says, can't wait for this number one contender tournament. Thoughts on AEW setting up for a future Moxley versus Omega blow-off match? I think that is the direction. And honestly, if I was booking, that's exactly what I would do. I think Omega is the guy to beat Moxley for the title, and then you do a longer storyline where eventually the person that beats Omega is Hangman Page. I think that makes all the sense in the world. And I mean, character-wise, I don't think many people are better right now than Hangman and Kenny Omega. Broken Scythe says Ricochet versus one of the Lucha Brothers would be a spot fest bonanza. Yes, there was a question earlier here from Wrestling and Comics Awesomeness saying if Ricochet actually goes to AEW, where does he fit in? In my opinion, if he went to AEW, he would just be on Dark. I don't know about that. I'm sure they would find a spot for him because, I mean, like, you can't be on TV every week, but I think you'd find a spot for Ricochet. Sanada has offered the LIJ pose to Naito as a showing of respect. We'll see if he extends. Oh, and he does. What a good leader. See, it's I like this sort of thing. This sort of thing just warms the cuckolds of my heart. I absolutely love it. People who are like heel leaning, showing a babyface side of themselves, I very much do like that. It will be interesting to see if we get a Sanada promo. I know. We didn't get one out of Ishii yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see this.
He appears to have left the ring.
Yeah.
Or is he getting a mic? Yes, he is. He's getting a mic. Right, so what he's saying is, oh man, I'm really pleased to have won that match. It was really tough, and being 1-3 is so much better than being 3-0. Please clap for me. Oh, and there you go. Now they're clapping for him.
It's very nice of them.
Oh, that guy wasn't wearing his mask properly. Cover your nose, people. Turn the lights off, please, he said. Oh, my God, Bray Wyatt is debuting.
That is quite the visual. They need to do this more often.
Oh, man, you should really subscribe to Wrestle2, he's saying. Oh, man, that Tempest and Andy, they really got it going on. So, yeah, all the Japanese fans are clapping now, obviously.
We're very over in Japan, of course.
This is me declaring that I'm moving to WWE. I will be debuting on this Friday night SmackDown in a match with Baron Corbin, he said. And I can't wait. Goodbye, New Japan forever. Wow. Well, Brian, Tempest, get on that news story.
Yeah.
Sanada leaves New Japan, joins WWE, and faces Baron Corbin. That is crazy.
That is interesting. The block has definitely kind of leveled out a little bit more after that match. You know, there's no one left that's undefeated. There's no one left with 0 wins or 0 losses, rather.
No, that is it. You're welcome for the translation, everyone. BJ Baker says, I end up 3-2 today. Got the last one right. Well, good call, BJ. Yeah, I guess that is it for us today. The next stream we will be doing is on Monday, which will be the 5th of October. It'll be us two again. What time is that one, Tempest?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me get that information real quick. If you want to just read out some of the last little chats here. I know there was one person saying, how do we feel about Matt Cardona not being with AEW anymore? Well, I'll be perfectly honest. It doesn't break my heart very much at all to see him go.
No, I can't really be bothered with him. It's at 11 o'clock GM BST, so it's a slightly later one, which is 6 a.m. Eastern. 5 a.m. Central and 3 a.m. Pacific. So if you're in the Pacific time, that is crazy.
That's almost like normal people hours.
That really is. But yes, thank you all very much for watching and sending in your questions. We'll be back on Monday. Yeah, so just keep watching, share the video around, click on all the videos that are appearing on the screen, subscribe, hit the bell. The more people that watch this, the more we'll be able to keep doing it. So yes, thank you very much, and we will see you